to lead this first lap and get that first bonus point toward the championship. It's 267 laps to make up the 400-mile distance today. The championship trophy awaits at the end of the Ford EcoBoost 400. Marcos Ambrose outside of Keselowski, and the green flag will run away. Leads lap one. Edwards to second. Not a good start for Keselowski.
None whatsoever. He couldn't get the car going on the initial start. And this car looks like it's sliding around quite a bit right now.
That's Cliff Boyer in the 15 working on him for third place.
Just heard Tony Stewart tell us that it seems like that as you start the anticipation, that car doesn't feel anything like what it did in practice yesterday. Yeah, it looked like he tried to run right on the bottom, right behind Carl Edwards on that first lap, and got a little bit loose coming off turn 4. Looked like he tried the higher lane through there that time.
Still side by side for third. A couple of things to think about here. First of all, you see how wide they fan out on this progressively banked Homestead-Miami track. 18, 19, 20-degree banking, going from lowest to highest lane. And the other thing is, those track conditions and temperature conditions are going to change greatly over these 400 miles.
We'll see most of the running on the bottom and middle of the racetrack when they have fresh tires. After that, we're going to see them very quickly move up to the very top, right against the wall.
Jimmie Johnson settling in line 11th after starting 10th. They're working on Sam Hornish Jr. in the 22 for a spot.
So they were working hard on this 48 car. He was not very impressive in any practice session that we've seen so far this weekend. But we've seen that before, and they come out with a victory.
So Boyer cleared Keselowski for third position. Now Kyle Busch behind the 2 in the 18. Certainly someone to keep an eye on today. And we'll see if as the laps build a little bit, that 2 car can get rolling and get a couple of those lost spots back.
I see Brad, he's really searching around on the racetrack. He's been high, been low. Looks like his car is pretty good right now. If he's run a couple of laps, that first couple of laps looks pretty loose to me. One thing that happens with these racetracks, though, they got sand on them. When the race starts, it's kind of slick. You really don't know what you have until you've run 5, 10 laps and get the track kind of cleaned off. Yeah, there's been no activity here today whatsoever, and it's the first time they've really encountered that scenario here this weekend. So I'm sure that Brad was probably filling things out, being a little bit cautious right at the beginning.
Big run for the 18.
Yeah, this is a car that a lot of people looked at, this 18, as one that they would have to beat. Got into the wall in the last practice yesterday a little bit, but they were able to repair the car.
So Kyle Busch to 4th, Keselowski to 5th, Martin Truex, Matt Kenseth, Eric Almirola, Mark Martin, and then Jimmie Johnson in the 48. Remember that the real basic of this championship today is Jimmie has to beat Brad and beat him by a significant chunk. If through any reason Keselowski finishes ahead of Johnson, then there's no chance for the 48. Now, if you're the 2, Keselowski, the likelihood of you're putting yourself in a potential 3-wide situation like we saw Johnson peeking at there for a second, not very high today. But Jimmie, he's going to try and take everything he can.
He's just going to have to go where he thinks he can make a pass and do whatever he can to move his way forward. Not happening right now. But yet, the 2 car, we're not going to see that at all.
Pretty tight right here. About 6 or 7 tight.
Yeah, that was probably somewhat intentional. to make sure that the car was under him and to get started. A lot of nerves there, so that's probably a calming effect, but they'll need to work on it someday.
They will, DJ, and keep this in mind for Brad. One of his strengths this season has been that he tunes the car to what he expects in the race. And so I asked Paul Wolf, you see there on the right, why they didn't stay with a setup that Brad liked on Saturday morning. He said it was because the other one he felt would be more drivable throughout the afternoon and evening. And so right now, a little bit tight, they will go to work on their first opportunity.
Yeah, we saw as this racetrack cooled down yesterday, a lot of cars that were good during the sun got extremely loose when the sun went down. So that could be a good scenario for them. Paul Wolf apparently planning ahead. Yeah, I talked to Paul this morning. He said that he expects this racetrack to get freer as it cools down, and I'm sure that he had anticipated that with the setup, and it's not going to be optimal right at this point with the track being with a lot of sun on it. But Brad will be patient, and I think the track will come towards his setup.
So while the championship contenders settle in the opening laps, Brad Keselowski sliding back from starting on the front row, the 5th position. Kyle Busch has just moved up a spot. He's taken 3rd from Clint Boyer, and Jimmie Johnson trying to pick his way up through the top 10 as he races for 9th position there with Eric Almirola and Kasey Kahne joining in the 5.
Get that point of the run, though, that he really probably needs to be on that top lane. Now it's being occupied by his teammate Kasey Kahne and Jeff Gordon coming behind him.
Second place here, Carl Edwards, 99, trying to hold it off. Kyle Busch coming after him.
Like Kyle's car is one of the cars that's still good on the bottom. He seems to be able to kind of go where he wants, but I tell you, it's nice to see Carl Edwards and Marcus Ambrose up here running at the front today. Haven't been able to say that a whole lot, especially about Carl after losing the championship here last year.
And for Ambrose, announced an extension with Richard Petty Motorsports here on Friday. He's leading the race, the Ford EcoBoost 400 in South Florida.